What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin, and today I'm coming at you with I'm not sure if this is gonna be a learning how to play or a bad deck idea, but it's Ghostrick Skeleton Mill. If you will recall, I did do a Ghostrick video pretty recently. I had a lot of fun, and I know that Ghostrick Skeleton Mill is a build I hadn't tried yet, so I decided to try it out, and I actually kinda dig it. It's pretty good. But yeah, let's get right into the deck profile. So it all focuses around this guy, Ghostrick Skeleton. So what he does is, when he is flipped face up from being face down on the field, you banish a card from the top of your opponent's deck face down for every Ghostrick monster you control. So it really does work well with Ghostrick because Ghostrick is very good at getting a bunch of monsters on board very quickly, and all of our whole lineup is pretty much dedicated to stalling and getting to skeletons. In order to do that more effectively, we have Mary, so whenever we take damage, we can discard it, and then we are able to summon a Ghostrick from deck. We have Zhang Shi. When he's flipped up, you can search a Ghostrick from your deck. That's level is less than or equal to the amount of face-up Ghostricks you have flipped up when he is flipped face up. And then Doll. When it's flipped face up, during the end phase, it will flip every monster on the field into face down defense position, and from there you can special summon a Ghostrick monster from your deck whose level is equal to or less than the amount of monsters flipped down. Then as far as our Stally cards, we have Ghostrick Jack Frost. When a direct attack is declared on you, you can flip that monster that is attacking directly face down, special summon this guy from your hand, face down. And Lantern does pretty much the same thing. When an opponent declares an attack on you or a Ghostrick monster you control, you can reveal it, negate that monster's attack, special summon this guy face down. So, very good stalling, very good just getting things on board. Makes it very easy to get 4 to 5 mils consistently with the skeleton. But getting to that, we have a few more consistency boosters. We have free Allure of Darkness, free Pot of Extravagance, 2 Terraforming, and free Ghostrick Parade. So Allure of Darkness lets you draw 2 cards, then you have to banish a dark attribute monster from your hand or discard your whole hand. Pot of Extravagance must be activated at the start of your main phase 1. You banish cards from your extra deck face down, and multiples of free with a max of 6 to draw that many cards of the multiples of free. So if you banish 6 face down, you get to draw 2 cards. The downside is that you cannot do any more drawing for the rest of the turn, and like I said, it has to be the first thing you do during your main phase 1. So, gotta keep that in mind. Terraforming searches our field spell, which is Ghostrick Parade. So, while it is active, your opponent cannot take damage, which is fine for us, seeing as we are trying to mill our opponent out. And when your opponent declares a direct attack upon you, you can add any Ghostrick card from your deck to your hand. So generally speaking, this does help us keep up the presence of our field, of our protection-y type cards. It lets us search a Mary, so if we have to take direct attack, we can take it, discard it, get a summon. It's honestly, it's nuts what you can do with this card, pretty much. Beyond that, though, battle damage, you might have noticed, is a problem, because what if your opponent decides, hey, how about I just kill you? And you don't have the ways to stall that you might like. So we run a few defensive options. We have, mostly for our defense, we have Storming Mirror Force and Ghostrick Scare. Storming Mirror Force says that when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you return all attack position monsters that you control to the hand. So, very good way of defending ourselves. Again, the battle phase, a genuine killer of this deck, so it's very nice to have this when you can. And then Ghostrick Scare is a little bit more interesting because it also acts as an interruption. So upon activation, you can target any amount of face-down defense position monsters you control, flip them face up, and then for each of those that was a Ghostrick, you get to flip your opponent's monsters into face-down defense position. So this will let us trigger Skeleton during our opponent's turn, as well as Doll, It stops our opponent from getting things on the board, making possible link plays. So it's not awful if you can get multiples going all at once. For our remaining traps, we have 3 Ghostrick Vanish, 1 Judgment, and 1 Warning. Ghostrick Vanish, it's kind of interesting. So its whole purpose is to keep us from being, like blown out by things like Raigeki or Dark Hole or other board wipey type effects. So what it says is that on activation, you reveal a Ghostrick monster in your hand, and for the rest of the turn, Ghostrick cards you control as well as face-down event position monsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So that will protect our field spell, protects our monsters, potentially protects our scare somehow, I guess. But yeah, it's great protection. Shouldn't go without it. And then we have Solemn Judgment as well as Warning. Judgment is a Omni negate for half your life points, and Warning stops inherent summons as well as spell and trap activations, and monster effects for the cost of 2,000 life points. So we do generally try to go first, and it is nice to be able to slow our opponent down with these, and there's some decks that really can't play through it, so it is just generally a very, very fine one us to have. Now, as far as our extra deck goes, we run everything at free, so we don't accidentally banish anything off Extravagance. So we are running free ofs of all the Ghostrick Xyz, as well as free Wee Witch, because we are all Dark Monsters. But the Ghostrick Xyz, I'll go over them real fast. We have the rank 1 Dullahan. It gains 200 attack points for each Ghostrick card that you control, and once returned, as a quick effect, you can attach a Xyz material from it to have something's attack until the end phase, and if it is sent to the graveyard by any means, you can target a Ghostrick card in your graveyard to add back to your hand. So Cute Boss is a rank 2 Ghostrick, and it cannot be targeted for attacks while you control another Ghostrick, and once per turn, you can attach a Xyz material from itself to target a monster and destroy it, assuming that the combined attack of all of your Ghostrick cards is greater than that, and as long as a Ghostrick is face up on the field, that zone is permanently shut down. Then we have Ghostrick Alucard, who is the rank 3 Ghostrick. It says that your opponent cannot target Ghostrick monsters or any face-down defense position monsters for attacks, except this one. It lets you detach a Xyz material from itself to target a set card your opponent controls, destroy it. It's a hard once per turn. If it's sent to the graveyard, you target a Ghostrick in your graveyard to add back to your hand, so like the Dullahan. And now we have the Angel of Mischief. It's a rank 4. You might notice we don't have any level 4s, but you can rank up into it from any Ghostrick monster. Once per turn, it has 2 effects. One lets you detach a Xyz material from itself to search a Ghostrick spell trap. The other allows you to take a Ghostrick monster from your hand and attach it to it as a Xyz material. It also has a instant win condition where if it has 10 overlay units, you win. But that hardly ever comes up unless you build a deck around it, which I might, because that seems fun. But yeah, so that's most of the deck. Generally speaking, we're trying to spam the board, get a skeleton, then just start milling. But we do have some issues, so we're going over the sideboard real fast. Go over the regular stuff first. We have Kaijus, because Kaijuing things is nice. We chose Radiant because it's a lure target. Twin Twister for a little extra spell trap removal. One Ghostrick Mansion in case our mill strategy just doesn't work and we need to play a more traditional Ghostrick strategy. The 2 copies of the Dark Door. It limits battle damage, limits attacks. We don't really attack anyway, so it's fine. Summon limit, not as good as you might think, because when we flip monsters up, that counts towards a summon count. So we do have to watch out for that. But it is nice against some spammy decks. It slows them down enough that your mill is perfectly fine where it is. And then I was talking about battle damage earlier. Well, Spirit Barrier synergizes very nicely with this deck if it is going off, because if you have a field full of face-down monsters and a Ghostrick field spell, your opponent is forced to attack you directly, have a spirit barrier up, attacking directly, not really going to do much. So, very nice with the deck, but you only really need to have it in for like super heavy OTK type strategies. But yeah, so that's the deck. If you're new here, we look at some replays. This time we have 2 replays. I go over the deck's combos, things that go right and wrong, so on and so forth. And yeah, that being said, I'll see you guys in the first game, or replay. Okay, so on to the first replay. We were playing Diego. We were the only one, because Skeleton Mill is like one of the few super viable mill strategies left, so yeah, we're the only one. But we're playing against Fluffles, so we did end up going first this game, which is really good. And unfortunately, this is a bad matchup for him, but he has opened up fairly well. So, gonna start with the terraforming, get a little deck thinning, and there we go. Simple play, simple play. So we have the Parade, Scare, as well as the Storming Mirror Force. So if our opponent looks like he's gonna kill us, we can do it. We have Marry in hand, so we can get to any monster we want, as well as searches if he attacks, which he will be doing because this is Fluffles. But yeah, let's see what kind of plays he make. Foolish Bear good, so the Toy Vendor searches Bear. Bear gets the Vendor. Vendor will draw him a card, possibly discard it. He also has the Patchwork for extension and the Fright for fusion. So things are looking good for him. So he vends, and he gets the perfect mill as well. So he sends the Wings and the Imp. The Imp will give him a search for a Fright for card. The Wings is basically just a Pot of Greed from the grave. So things are going great for him right now. And he, just in case you cannot tell, he did search the Fright for a Factory. So yeah, then Bear's going to be doing its thing to shuffle stuff back. Dog gives him a search for the Penguin, I believe it was, and yeah, now he's getting the Patchwork for the Poly, as well as the Edgem Cotton. That was actually a fairly interesting choice. I know it's a good card, I don't see many builds running it though. But hey, I mean, I guess if it works out. So he's going to fuse into the Kraken. The Cottoneer is going to let him draw a card. He uses the Factory to get Sabretooth. Sabretooth will give him the Kraken back. So battle phase, we do get the search for Jack Frost. We take that though, so we can get the Marry effect to set the skeleton. So now at this point, we're basically just trying to set up a board, if we can, so that we can get significant mills off our skeleton, which we are going to be able to do, because when he attacks again, we'll have the Jack Frost ready to go. So we declare direct attack, we get search, Jack Frost turns the face down, and we got a Lantern in case he does more attacks, which he can, so we get another Surge, a Lantern face down, and another Jack Frost just in case. So, yeah, at this point we're going to be getting at least 3 mills all off of this one field spell, so it's very good. And now I also don't necessarily agree with the fusion stage, just because you're playing Bear, Owl comes up later, there's Patchwork involved, as well as the fusion. It just seems like a little bit much. But he does get a Poly, and he's ready to go. So we got very good things here. Now we did flip face up, because we're going to summon Doll in a second here. We flipped these face up first, because in order to normal summon the Ghostrick monsters, you must first already control a face up Ghostrick. So we summon Doll, and then we flip Skeleton for 4 mills. Then we flip everything face down per their own effects. And yeah, we're really set to go here. So he is going to continue comboing off. He knows our strategy, so I don't know why he did, but I guess it's his life, not mine. And the Angel is actually kind of cool too. It acts as a sort of Monster Reborn. I'm pretty sure it just locks you into fusion summons though. Yeah, so it locks you into fusion summons, so it's not bad, it's not bad. So the Patchwork happening. Gonna go ahead and interrupt his plays and get some mills. So yeah, what you want to do is have both of these on the field. Doll's a very good chain block to make sure you resolve your skeleton. So we banish another 4, Fusion, one of the few mechanics where you can get rid of materials face down. So that was a bit of a problem, I forgot about that, but we're going to end up fine, so he's going to be getting stuff back. The Cotton Eater's going to get him draws. Again, he's hoping to end me this turn, I think. If I had to guess, he was not anticipating the Storming Mirror Force. But, you know, we had it ready, just in case. So yeah, and Fluffles, you know, they go through their deck fast. And, alright, so yeah. That happens, he fusion summons the Daredevil. Sabretooth gets the Daredevil back. But we did flip our doll. So that flips everything face down, and we get another special summon from the deck. So, we're in a very good position here. I'll say it, I do style here a little bit. Only milling the one. So he draws, but he can't draw and he loses. So, that was kind of like an ideal matchup. Fluffle, generally speaking, has a hard time with decks like Ghostrick, where they're just very hard to deal with in the battle phase, as well as the fact that they just go through their deck so quickly. So, weirdly enough, with this deck, the faster your opponent goes, the better off you're gonna end up being most of the time. So that was the deck doing pretty well. You know, only damage we took was intentional, so it's fine. But, yeah, next game is going to show you the deck not doing so well and sort of demonstrating a major problem you might face if you want to play this, but I'll see you guys there. Okay, welcome to the second replay. We're showing off the deck's weakness. You may look, we opened up fairly decently. And we're playing against some Black Wings that's playing... Honestly, Black Sonic is like it's a really good card. I'm not even gonna lie. I love this card. I feel like deserves more than it gets. But yeah, it's a kind of weird 45 card Blackwing build, but we are going first, so that's going to be banish 6, draw 2. And here is a fairly good opening. We have double scare, hoping if he is playing spell trap removal was the idea, so we would have one. Doll to flip face up if we need to, as well as parade for searches, so we're pretty good, well off here. So our opponent's going to draw, they got the Icarus attack. And here, it might seem a little preemptive. I will say it does seem very preemptive. But with Black Wings, generally speaking, so long as you can keep a Black Wing from being face up on the field, they really can't do much. So a little preemptive on my part, but I think it was, at the time it was worth it, because we also got a special summon, putting the Mary face down. We're going to go ahead and do that. Doll will get us more summons in the end phase, so we get another doll. Building up a board. Then the Icarus attack happens. Admittedly, I was not expecting this type of build. Just actual, like, spell traps and stuff, Black Wings. But, yeah, so we're going to get a little blown out by the Icarus attack. We do have another parade hand, so we're fine if we need to be. So he's gonna go ahead, summon Blizz. Blizz will bring back Bora. Hit him with the second scare. So get that summon in the end phase. So we're pretty much back to where we started. Reactivated our parade. And now we will be going for the skeleton. So from here we are in a fairly good position. Well, I thought we were. You know, we have double storming. Dolls, we have a big Ghostrick board. Even if he does do damage, we have the Mary. I genuinely thought we were in a good spot. Then Raigeki happened. That hurt a lot. And then Black Wings Towers. So you're gonna notice that we have no out for this. Okay, we have just absolutely no out for this. So we do get the search though. Mary effect will give us a skeleton so we can try to start milling a little bit at least. So we do get the 1 mill. A witch counter unfortunately gets placed on us because we activate it, but that doesn't really matter because we just flip face up down before we end our turn. And you see, here's the thing about this guy. He is unaffected by Ghostrick Parade, so he is able to actually pick off and beat over our skeletons, which is unfortunate, but we did get scared, so not in the worst position. Alright, so here he's gonna, boy Shadow's gonna try to go for some plays. So we did flip that face down, got the search for the Mary. Mary will drop that. So we tried to minimize damage as much as we could. Zhang-Shi will get us a search for level 1 when we flip it, so that's going to be very nice. Yeah, we drew the Spirit Barrier, so this is where the tech generally would come in handy if Full Armored Master wasn't a thing. So we do get the Lantern though, which is pretty good. We flip it face down itself. Go ahead and set our Spirit Barrier. Not a terrible position here, except for the Full Armored Master. He was not ready for that Mirror Force, and while the Full Armored Master is unaffected, all his other monsters are. So we did mitigate that damage, as well as getting a search, which is pretty nice of him. He does get to just re-special summon stuff though, so that's unfortunate. So the Vanish, not super good here. It would have been great with against the Raigeki, but oh well. So we're leaving the field open here, because that way we will take some damage, but we can't search a Mary. Plus the Stormy Mirror Force will keep us from dying completely. Oh wait, forgot we're out of Marys here. We did get a Zhang-Shi, so it's fine. Now, next turn, I'm not gonna lie, I was testing something. Here. So I wanted to see when the Full Armor Master attacked, if I were to activate Lantern's effect, would I be able to special summon it? I wasn't sure. The answer to that was unfortunately no, because he is just going to make another Full Armored Master here. He's going in, blow up our field. We went ahead and activated the Vanish though to protect our field spell if we could. So yeah, it turns out that Full Armored Master, we cannot summon it because the attack is not negated. So that's interesting. So yeah, that's kind of why we side in stuff like Kaijus, because against towers-like monsters, like a Full Armored Master here, you know, it's not affected by anything else. So it does make it very difficult for us to actually deal with. But that's why, you know, Kaijus, Radiant, stuff like that. Not a lot of decks have tower monsters, pretty much, so not a huge thing to super worry about. But yeah, that was a Ghostrick Skeleton Mill. Honestly, not bad, not a bad deck. The only issue is it's just the win condition. It takes a few too many turns to establish. You can't really recur abilities because Skeleton is a horde once per turn, so it's just it's kind of rough to play the deck, honestly. It's kind of rough, but if you can pull it off, it's very fun and trolly, and a legitimate mill strategy that you can use that doesn't give your opponent graveyard setup. But yeah, so I enjoyed this, but let me know what you guys think. Is there any ways I can make this better? Any obvious synergies I was missing that you just know absolutely better than me? Because I'm sure you do. But yeah, that being said, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.